All right, welcome to our spine focus class where it's going to have a little extra emphasis on the abs today. We got the dummy today is Damien. Thanks for donating your spine. I appreciate it. So today, for today's focus, again, spine work, we're going to need some dumbbells. And not necessary, but I always like to use some dumbbells for this. We're not going to be lifting any weights or anything like that. So the dumbbells could be really heavy or they could be really light. I just like them for your hand and wrist position. Otherwise, you're going to be flat on the hands a little bit, which can be a little tricky on the wrists if you have wrist issues. So let's not waste too much time and let's get after it. So we're going to start you with some CARs today, and we're going to get you into the butterfly base position. So we have your classic butterfly stretch. We also have some options for you. If you're really tight, really stiff through the hips, you have a cross-legged position, so you can just do crisscross applesauce. You got her. And then if you're, again, want to keep in the butterfly position, we can also elevate the hips. So if you want to use the yoga block to elevate the hips a little bit, you got that option available to you. All right?
There. Save time. I'll do it right from here.
Perfect. So we're going to start you off with the neck CARs. So our neck CARs today, we're going to do a full round of CARs, and then we're going to split them into some half CARs. All right? So today, we're going to start you off chin down towards the sternum. Now from here, we're going to reach down. You're going to notice that there's like a nub on the back of your neck. That nub is like T1. So that means the cervical spine is everything above that. So what we're trying to do is kind of lengthen that position a little bit. And then we're going to turn the head and twist your nose in towards your left armpit. All right? Then we'll go left ear to left shoulder as you tilt. Now the one thing to keep in mind when you're doing this is opposite side shoulder, trying not to lift. I'll loop that all the way around. We'll go right ear to right shoulder, and then we go nose into right armpit. We're going to go all the way to the midline, and we'll stop right there. We're going to come back the other direction. We're keying around about 40 or 50% here. Again, if you have a pencil on top of your head, you're trying to draw the biggest circle that you can on the ceiling. Nose into armpit, and then we'll just finish off the midline. Perfect. So just one classic neck CAR. If you feel like you need more, do a couple more. But in this case, we're going to move on right to the half CARs. So the half CARs, what we're going to do is we're going to start you down with the nose into the sternum, and we'll do just the front part. So the front part here, we're going to, again, find that length between the nub and the base of the skull, and we're going to twist your nose in towards your left armpit, or right armpit. All right? All right, right there. So we're twisting. What you're going to find, again, is tension on the opposite side. And then from here, you're going to try to scrape your chin across your collarbone and twist your nose in towards your left armpit. All right? And then we're just going to go back and forth, all right? Twist, nose into right armpit. And then we're going to go twist, nose into left armpit. We're going to go two more, and then we'll do the back part of the neck. All right? Again, the neck is one of these tricky things. Sometimes if you feel like you've got a really tight neck, try not to force the range of motion, and try to ease into the end ranges a little bit more. All right, so now we've got the back part. So what we're going to go is we're going to go left ear to left shoulder. All right, what he's going to do is he's going to take his nose and his head all the way back, and he's going to loop around, and he's going to go right ear to right shoulder, all the way around, right ear to right shoulder. This is where I get the most amount of tension, especially on the opposing side, so just be aware of that opposite side shoulder. And I'm going to loop it around, ear into left shoulder. And then we're going to go back with the nose and chin. The other thing too that's doesn't seem like a lot, but keeping the mouth closed and the chin kind of tucked in so we can feel a little more stretch, tension around the scalenes in the front part of the neck. We'll do a couple more here, so about 4 or 5 altogether would be good. And then we're going to get to the upper back. All right, one more. All the way around. Again, this is the one to make sure that there's no pain or pinching. Now, if you do have neck issues like arthritis and stuff like that, then you might not want to go back as far. So what you do is maybe you go right ear. So let's go left ear to left shoulder. And then you just wouldn't tilt all the way back. You might tilt a little bit back and then go left ear to left shoulder. All right, and then we'll go a little bit back, and then there you go. All right, so just not challenging the end range as much. All right, so those are your neck CARs for today. Let's get to the upper back. So the upper back here, we'll take the hands on the side of the neck and we'll go elbows right in front. Now I do like this variation, but it's not necessary, especially if you have shoulder issues. So if this is really tight on the shoulder and causing a little too much discomfort, we can cross the hands on the shoulders. You got her. Either way, we'll pick whatever works best for you. In this case, it's going to be elbows in front. I like this position because all we have to think about is just drawing a nice big circle with those elbows here together, and then we'll just kind of achieve our CARs. So we're going to come all the way down with those elbows. As the elbows move, the rib cage follows along. So we're going to use your abs to really round out your back. And then from here, very similar to the neck CARs, we're going to twist to one side. All right, as we do that, we're going to start drawing a nice big circle with those elbows. We're going to lift up with those elbows as high as you can, again, allowing the rib cage to follow along all the way up. And then we're going to draw a nice big circle to the side and then down. All right, it's important, especially with this butterfly position. You'll notice if you try to get too much range of motion, you're going to notice weight shifting from side to side. So when you go and rotate from one side, we'll go three one way, three the other. When you twist to one side, you see nice even weight on the same side, on the opposite side pelvis. So whenever I twist this way, I should see nice even weight on the right side pelvis. So back up, there you go, all the way around, nice and slow back down. Good, good. Twist, squeeze those abs. So again, when your ribs are open, you should feel a lot of the back stuff. Now when you come down in front, you should feel a lot of the ab stuff. Now, that's why when people tell me they want to do low back work, I just say that you want to do ab work at the end of the day. All right, so your abs are low back, and your low back is your abs.
True.
One back. All right, we'll just do one more there, Damien. Now again, sometimes we'll go all in one direction, or we'll go one way, one back. In this case, we'll go one way, one back. Perfect. So those are your upper back CARs. All right. Thoracic lumbar CARs. So in that case, what we're trying to do is get as much rotation from that nub all the way down to the tailbone. All right. So that's their thoracic lumbar. So our next position, we're going to go hands and knees. Quadruped. So again, if you do have wrist issues, we can use your yoga blocks for these. If you don't have a set of dumbbells. Again, I would prefer a set of dumbbells if you have them, but if you don't, we would use the yoga blocks, and we can have your hands off or your fingers off the edge there. All right, just watch the tipping and just make sure those yoga blocks don't tip on you, all right? Just be a little easier on the wrist that way. So in our case, we're gonna use our dumbbells today, and we're going to start you off with some one segmented cat-camel, and then we're going to do a little bit of hinge point training. All right. Now our segmented cat-camel, not too slow, not too fast. We're going to do the old Goldilocks just right. So we're going to keep that upper back rounded. Now what we're going to do today is we're actually going to start you from the top. All right. So we're going to bring the head back with a tucked in chin, and then you're going to start to feel this. Then we're going to let this area drop down here, and this area drop down here. All right. This area drop. Yeah. Keep bringing that head back. You'll start to notice that this area is just going to keep falling. And then once you start getting to that lower back area, you're going to start opening up the rib cage. You can tell he's not used to doing it this direction, which is okay. This is another reason why we should do it. Last thing that moves is going to be the tailbone. All right? Now from here, we're going to go back the other direction. So we're going to start at your tailbone. So you're going to start by squeezing your glutes and rounding out your tailbone. And you're going to kind of push this area up. There you go. Yeah, keep going, keep rounding. You're going to use your abs to kind of tuck in that tailbone, bring that belt buckle towards the rib cage, and then you're going to start pushing one at a time up into that lower back. All right. Now in this case, the last thing that's going to move is going to be your head. So the last thing that moves is head down, tucked in chin. Perfect. All right. So what we're going to do, we forgot to mention something about a band at the beginning as well. So we're going to do our hinge point training, which again could be benefited by using a band. Now if you don't have a band, again, that's okay. You can use a string. You can use whatever you like. To be honest, you can even use your thumb, your own hand to do this. So what we're going to do, we want to loop you around. We're going to do some hinge point training on the lower back area. We're going to do some hinge point training on the upper back area. All right. So what Damien's going to do is we're going to hold tension through this band, and we'll get that right into the hands there. All right. So we're going to go after L4, L5 area. Now I like to go after this area quite a bit because there's a lot of people that have low back issues that tend to have issues with the L4, L5. So we're going to start rounded back. So let's get everything rounded out here. So right where the band is where we want to see the initial movement coming from. If there's a little bit more movement from other areas, that's okay, just as long as the initial movement is coming from the band. So what I want you to feel is that band almost pulling that spine towards the floor as that tailbone slowly comes up. All right? Now, as that tailbone comes up, it's almost like you're squeezing that band from both sides. All right? And then you're going to stop. And then you're going to go back and you're going to push against the band and squeeze your glutes and round out. And this is, again, coming from the front side with the abs. We'll go back up with the tailbone, slow. And then we're going to round out. We're just going to go 5 reps here in a couple areas. And then back, tailbone up. And then tailbone back. I kind of feel like it tucks underneath. You can kind of squeeze the glutes and then abs tight from the other side. Good, good. Again, he's getting a little movement up here, but that's okay because the initial movement is coming from here first. Very nice. I think we got one more. Yep. And then we're going to move the band up a little higher to go into the upper back. Perfect. So now let's go right under the armpits, across the back here. Again, I find this area to be kind of challenging just in regards to trying to isolate and feel the stuff. Just in regards to the shape of the spine, the S shape, we're going to tend to get a little more extension through the lower back and less flexion, whereas the opposite is kind of true for the upper back. We're going to get more flexion, not as much extension, all right? So it's just something to keep in mind. Now, the cues that I like to use here off the start will be kind of using more so the head. All right, so we got that right here. All right, we'll kind of stick it there as well. So we're going to start rounded back position. Perfect. So we're going to be rounded back and we're going to hold there. So what I like to do first is try to bring the head back with a tucked in chin towards that. And then you're going to feel this area wanting to fall down, but you're going to pick the area right where the band is, and you're going to let that specific area fall down. Yeah, keep coming back with the head now. Keep coming back until you feel like that is there. Perfect. And then you're going to push right up against, head down, and then more chin into the sternum as you come up. Perfect. And then we're going to go head back, tucked in chin. And then this area kind of falls down a little bit as you go more with the tucked in chin back. Right there. And then you'll feel like a lot of tension in here, almost wanting to squeeze, maybe wanting to cramp. And then chin tucked down, and think more chin tucked down, round up. Yeah, there you go. And then back with the head tucked in. There you go, and that area kind of falls down. Now again, if you're kind of feeling this generally and not that specific, that's still okay for now, but as you progress with these classes, I want to see more specificity. There you go. And we'll go one more, head back, tucked in chin. And again, you can see that area fall and hold, and then chin tucked in and back. Good. All right, let's get that band away. So next, we're going to work into some of our lengthened tissue isometrics and eccentrics for our spine. I find this stuff really, really important because when we talk about the structure and the anatomy of the spine, as we get deeper into that structure, it becomes more and more connective tissue. And why that's important is because we can preferentially treat connective tissue by doing certain things as opposed to doing other things for muscle tissue. So we're going to get back into your hands and knees position. So what I was saying is that with connective tissue, we can preferentially treat it by training it at length. So in order to speak the language of connective tissue, and when I say connective tissue, I'm saying like, tendons, ligaments, inter and intramuscular connective tissue. We're all talking about the webbing that goes in and out of the muscles that bring everything together and that absorb force. So if we want to train that stuff, it has to be under a lengthened position. So what we're going to do is we're going to round out the back here, and we're going to have a little focus here on the spine and the back of the spine. All right, so how he's going to do this, very similar to our last class, is what we're going to do is take this space between your weights, or let's say your hands, and your knees. And what you're going to do is you're going to separate that floor. Now, when I like to separate the floor, as much as I like to think about the knees, I almost want to separate the floor with my pelvis. It's almost like my tailbone wants to come up, but I'm not letting it. And then we're trying to push those weights forward. And what you're going to generally feel is some isometric tension. So you're going to feel some active stretch here along that spine area. All right? Now, if you have certain areas that you'd like to focus on, you can do that. All right? We're going to keep pushing away. We got 50% effort. We're going to do about 30 to 45 seconds here. All right, we're almost done here anyways. We're going to another 10 seconds or so. Keep pushing that floor away. All right, again, we can kind of gravitate towards getting that tension from base of the hip to base of the skull here. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, so that's our PAILs. That's called progressive angular isometric loading. It's basically just taking a tissue to a lengthened position and making it do a little bit of work. All right. So we're going to do one more of those, and then we're going to do a lengthened tissue isometric from the front side. All right? All right, so we're going to separate that floor. All right, and then he's just going to ramp up slowly to 50%. Again, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the abs. Again, continuing to separate the floor. Squeezing the glutes, abs, separate the floor. You got her. Again, I always like to take about 3 cues and recycle them to keep as consistent as possible through this. Right? The breathing, I find, is the toughest part. So as you hold and maintain tension, you might do some short, shallow breathing, or you might just have to back away from the intensity a little bit to find yourself in a more comfortable position to breathe. And we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly relax. Perfect. So that was a lengthened tissue isometric on the back and the back part of the spine. We're going to do the front part of the spine next, which is going to be your abs stuff. All right. So what we're going to do is going to do a full extension. So your full extension here now is obviously this position. So whatever that means to you, we're going to get you into there. Now the cues are going to be slightly opposite. What we're going to do now is take that space between the floor and pull that together. So again, your hands are going to pull that weight in towards your knees. And then instead of your knees coming up, think about your belt buckle coming up with your rib cage. It's almost like you're trying to pull your knees forward with your belt buckle, the rib cage. All right, as you're pulling that floor together, you're going to get this weird kind of tension on your abs. Now, if you don't feel this, it is actually quite common. We might want to back away from that range of motion a little bit. Yeah, so if you don't feel it, we might want to back away there and then try it again and see if you can feel that a little bit more. You will find yourself in a position where you can feel it, even if you got to come up more, and then squeeze the floor together, and then work more into end range, that's an option, all right? So we're still holding, and we're getting that full 45 seconds in. So another 15 or so seconds. Keep pulling that floor in, squeezing the abs, trying to bring that belt buckle up towards the rib cage. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're going to do one more of those, and then we're going to work into our eccentrics on the back and the abs. All right, here we go, Damien. So let's get back into your full extension here. We're going to start by maybe even squeezing the abs first. We're going to pull the weight towards your knees up towards the weight. Again, if you want to use that belt buckle as that cue, no problem. All right, now let's ramp that up. We got 50, maybe 60%. Short, shallow breathing as you maintain tension through your abs. Remember, your abs and your diaphragm are separate, so you should be able to separate those two. There you go. Another 10 seconds here. Good, some good tension through that back there, which is good, but you're hopefully feeling this mostly through your abs. In 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do one set of eccentrics for the back. So when we say eccentrics, what we're trying to do is we're trying to load up some of the tissue of the spine and actively stretch it into end range. All right, so we'll get you back into your position. This time, we're going to start at a neutral position, all right, in both directions that we go. So here we're going to start in a neutral position, and then we're going to separate the floor. All right, what you're going to feel is like the back wants to arch. All right, you're going to feel like as you separate the floor, that wants to happen. But essentially what we're trying to do is load up the back tissue. So he's going to separate the floor, and you're going to feel the back stuff. And then from here, he's going to take the front stuff, his abs, and he's going to push his low back up towards the ceiling and upper back up towards the ceiling slowly as he has a nice active stretch. Now, we don't necessarily need to segment this isometric or this eccentric quite yet, but in the coming classes, we probably will. All right, so he's going to separate the floor. We're going to go 6 reps here. I think I said 5, but we're going 6. Separate the floor, pull up as he's squeezing the abs. So we're looking for a nice active stretch. And then reset, he's going to come back to neutral, set, and then slow stretch. All right, so nice, even, active stretch, almost like he's trying to, pull the weights in more. There you go. And then separate the floor. All right, feel the back and a nice active stretch. So like chin down towards the sternum, lifting up, but again, squeezing from the abs. So it should be a little bit of this resistance as you're going into end range. We'll do 3 more.
2 more.
2 more. I always try to get an extra. Here we go. Good. I find this one sometimes nice and easy to maintain and hold tension, all right? So that's why we always like to practice the PAILs first, is to try to get that tension at length. And then as we work the eccentric into the lengthened position, it's easier to hopefully feel that tissue. Very nice. So that is your eccentrics on your spine stuff, more focused on the back. Now we'll do the spine stuff more focused from the front. So we're going to start you back into the neutral position, and we're going to pull that floor together. All right, now we'll activate the abs. So the idea with pulling the floor together is we're loading up now the abs. Now we're going to do the opposite. What we're going to do is as you pull that together, you're going to open up the rib cage. Slowly, you're going to feel this active stretch along the abs. I want you to think about, perfect, we're going to reset, neutral position, pull together. Now I want you to think about, as you go more into end range, when do you lose tension? Or if you do lose tension, I want you to stop as soon as you lose tension, reset, and then do it again. All right, pull the floor together, and then slow, active stretch. The back arches, the spine opens up, and you're actively stretching your abs. Kind of a weird stretch if you've never done it before. All right, pull together in, and then slow, active stretch. There you go. A little slower. There you go. I'm always looking for about 5 to 10 seconds with the eccentrics. The more range of motion, sometimes the longer we go. Slow, slow, slow. Open up the rib cage. There you go. I think one more, is that it? One more, why not? Perfect. So like I said, if we know that most of the connective tissue at depth in the spine is more connective tissue, then I think, training it sometimes at length and through eccentric work will be a good benefit to the spine, all right? So we're going to finish off with a few now traditional exercises or more end range movements on these ones, all right? So our first one here, we're going to start you off in a cobra stretch. We're going to get away, we don't need the weights anymore. I don't think we need anything else. So we're going to get you in a cobra stretch. Now in this position, you can go up as high as you want with your spine. I just want to make sure that pelvis stays on the floor. All right, making sure that doesn't lift off and making sure the feet always stay on the floor. And this is going to be more important when we get to the active portion, all right? So first, we just want to kind of get used to this position. I always like to feel a little bit of tension on the abs. So, sometimes you feel a lot in the low back, but also bringing the chin back or the head back with a tucked in chin might help get some more of that upper back as well. So the idea with this one is we're going to do a passive range hold. So we'd see something like active or passive range. And we'd like to bridge the gap between active neurological control within the range of motion and your passive range. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to be on your elbows in your passive range of motion. What Damien's going to do is he's going to kind of squeeze his back. So he's going to flex his stuff, and it's almost going to like squeeze together here, head back with a tucked in chin and squeezing the glutes. All right, and then he's going to try to slowly let go of his arms and maintain this position, and he's going to hold. Feet stay on the floor and hands come away. And we're going to hold 5, 4, hands back on the floor, 2, 1, and relax. Now another way I like to kind of let go of the hands is sometimes because there might be a little bit of lag is I like to slide them forward. And that way if he's flexing and he's holding, let's do another one, and then he's going to slide his elbows forward. If there is lag, you're going to be able to feel that better. And then you can lift the hands up and hold. There you go. So he's almost got a 1-to-1 ratio. It's looking really good. In 3, 2, 1, hands back, hold. We got 3 more. Ready? We're going to squeeze the back, head back, tucked in chin, slowly letting go, and then hold. There's going to be a lot of it here. If you bring that head back more, it should be here. All right? 3, 2, 1, hands back. We're going to go 2 more. Here we go. So we're going to flex glutes, feet into the floor, slowly let go of the hands, and hold. There you go. Flex, squeeze. 3, 2, 1, hold. We got 1 more. We got 5 5-second holds. Here we go. Squeeze, flex, slowly let go, and hold. There you go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very nice, Damien. So again, I think it goes without saying that you should feel most of that in the back. Just as long as no pain, no pinching, you're good to go. All right. So our next one here, we're going to be in the same position, but this time we're going to do what we call a segmented plank. Now, in this case, we're going to try to make the plank a little bit more intense. The problem that I have sometimes with the plank is that people can hold it forever. I think the world record for holding a plank is around 8 hours. So I don't want you to conserve energy and hold a plank forever. So what we're going to try to do is throw a little bit of intensity into this plank and try to give this a max effort treatment. All right, so first of all, the idea with this is we're going to segment your spine into the plank. So first of all, we're going to give you a demo here. So just have a look before we get you into it. All right, so he's going to go arms in. What he's going to start with first is a segmented plank. So he's going to go chin down, and then he's going to start pushing up through here through the shoulder blades. And then he's going to go one at a time, keep going all the way up. Now the hips are going to start to come off. All right, you'll notice the hips start to come off, which is fine. Keep pushing up through that lower back. Now it's going to be a lot of abs. I want to see a lot of roundness through that upper back. Yeah, keep going. And then it's going to be lower ab, and then he's going to tuck in the hips and then squeeze the glutes. You can maintain on your knees here too if you want. Or if you're feeling really good, you're going to get up off your knees. And then we're going to go 5 seconds, hardest squeeze that you can give, pushing up through the upper back, abs tight, glutes tight. 3, 2, 1, relax. And then we're going to go back into the cobra, and we're going to do that again. We're going to give you 5, maybe 4 of these. Let's go 4 of these, all right? But again, these 4, I want to see as much safe max effort tension, okay? Let's begin. So he's going to start by nice and solid through the shoulder blades, pushing the floor away with the shoulder blades. And then it's going to go head down. You're going to start by pushing up through here first. Yep, push up through here. Yeah, keep going, keep going. You can go a little quicker than that. It doesn't have to be as slow as segmented. And you're going to keep the knees on for now. Yeah, keep going, keep going. Now, if you are good here, you can stay here on the knees, or if you're feeling spicy, let's get those knees off, and let's squeeze. Now, as hard as you can, pushing up through here, squeezing your abs, squeezing your glutes, harder than that. 4, 3, 2, 1, slow relax. We're going to go back to the cobra stretch. We got 3 more of those. 3 more. Here we go. Solid through the shoulder blades, chin down. Up through here, up through here, up through here. There you go. Now keep squeezing the abs, tucking the rib cage. Up through here. Now you're going to squeeze the glutes. If you want to stop here, that's fine. Or you lift the knees up, squeeze the glutes, upper back as hard as you can. Squeeze those abs as hard as you can. Squeeze those glutes as hard as you can. Legs as long as you can. 3, 2, 1. Slow relax. We're going to go 2 more. Here we go. Solid through the shoulders, chin down. You're going to push up through here, up through here, up through here, up through here, up. Yeah, keep going. Now abs, lots of abs. Here we go. More abs. There you go. Now knees up if you're feeling good. Now abs tight, glutes tight. Squeeze more abs, more abs. 3, 2, 1. Slow relax. Good. We got 1 more max effort. If you got any energy left within this plank, use it all here in this last set. We only have 1 more exercise left, and that will be it for today. So let's go solid through the shoulder blades, chin tucked down. Let's go up through the upper back, up through the mid back. There you go. Round out. Now this is when you start getting lower than the rib cage. This is abs. Start squeezing those abs. Start tucking in the tailbone. Squeeze the glutes. There you go. Now lift the knees off. Now let's squeeze as hard as you can. As hard as you can. Push up through the upper back. More abs, more glutes. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Very nice. So that is your segmented plank to a max effort hold. All right, we're going to finish off with a low back liftoff. We're going to call that's a fancy word for a crunch. So we're going to give a yoga block. It's not necessary, but I do like it for this particular exercise. We're going to get you on your back, feet flat on the floor. All right. So for, in this case, again, an ab crunch for me is a low back flexion. So we're going to use that low back as the guide, the cue. We have a couple options here. We can put the hands beside the hips, or we can put the hands behind the head for a little bit of support if you start to feel this too much in the neck. And you can do a combination of the two as well. So what I want to see here first is, again, with this liftoff, is going to be all low back. So I want to see nice deep breath in. And then when you deep breath out, I want you to lift your shoulder blades off the floor, push your low back into the floor, and hold for 2 seconds. And then you're going to go back down, deep breath in, lift up the rib cage, and then breathe out, back up. There you go. All right, we're going to go 1 set. We're just going to keep going. We're going to give you 1 set of about a 1 to 2 minute, and we're going to go for some endurance on this one. The goal here is to fatigue the abs. All right, and we can go a little quicker than that as well. All right, so it doesn't have to go too slow. And then a nice deep breath in, and then deep breath out, flatten, and then up. We want to make sure that we try to move that lower back first before anything moves in the neck and the head. So it's low back first, up. Yeah, and then deep breath in. Yeah, now let's start to speed it up a little bit. There you go. All right, deep breath in, and then deep breath out. Now again, the yoga block's there just for a little bit of support on the head. If you start to feel that neck too much because of the yoga block, you can take that away as well. I just like to kind of keep it there for a little bit of support. All right, we're going to keep rolling, deep breath in, deep breath out. The more you use that diaphragm within your ab work, the more you're going to feel those abs. We want to think about really squeezing out, really compressing that midsection. So every time you breathe out, you want to think more compression. Compress, compress. There you go. Deep breath in, open the ribs. Deep breath out, up. There you go. And deep breath in, and then deep breath out. Come on, there we go. Damien, here we go. Let's see how many you can do here. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And let's hold. Let's hold this here. Let's hold it. Breathe out, hold, hold, hold. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Let's keep going with the reps. Here we go. Deep breath in, and then deep breath out. Squeeze. There you go. And then deep breath in, open the ribs, deep breath out. There you go. Keep squeezing. Here we go. Deep breath in, deep breath out, squeeze. There you go. Deep breath in. We got about 2 more. Squeeze. Perfect. And we got 1 more. This is our last one. Deep breath in, push that low back in, hands up. There we go. Now hold, hold, hold. Don't stop. Hold, hold it, hold it. More abs. Push that low back in. More abs. 3, 2, 1, and slow relax. Very nice. All right, guys. So that is your spine class. A little extra focus on those abs today. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks, Damien, for being our dummy today.